It was shortly after the Port Chicago explosion when I arrived at St. Catherine's to begin a 13-year mission, my first after having completed my religious training and finishing college. This was to remain all my life as my favorite mission and the one from which I have the most lasting memories. To this day, I remember so many of the children and many of the parents with whom I dealt. My first year, I was placed in charge of the little girls' dormitory. This meant 24-hour-a-day care of 18 little girls from grades 1 through 4. At the same time, I was also teacher to a combination first and second grades, so many of the little girls in my dormitory were also in my classroom. It was my duty to bathe and dress the girls, braid or curl their hair, and make sure their school uniforms were neat and clean, shoes shined, and whatever else was necessary for them to go to class. After school, they changed into play clothing, and from then on we sisters took turns watching them at play, took them to dinner, and then watched over them, helping as necessary to get them ready for bed when the time came. The following year, I was moved to the boys' dormitory to watch over 37 little boys from 1st through 5th grades and to do for them all the same things I had been doing for the little girls in their dormitory. As the years rolled by, I acquired other duties, one of which was taking charge of the kitchen, making menus, ordering supplies, and helping whenever necessary, and even doing the cooking on the cook's days off. Because the days were not long enough for so much work, I often asked the older boys to help in the storeroom. When a big supply of groceries came in, I chose 4 or 5 of the older boys to help unpack and stock shelves. All of the boys would have helped if only I could give them a chance, but I could not have so many at one time. Perhaps they wanted to help because they knew this would be followed by an ice cream or cookie treat. Besides, they just loved pulling open a box of canned goods and then glancing up at me to make sure I had noticed their muscles. They were a wonderful help and provided so much fun both for themselves and for me. Later on, I was also given charge of the garden. I did not actually have to do any of the work because we had Mr. O'Houlihan to do the gardening, but I had to make sure he did whatever was necessary according to the season. In the meantime, there were our religious duties to be attended to, such as being at morning prayers by 6 o'clock, and then again in the evening for spiritual reading, which was followed by prayers until it was time for dinner. Sister Irene and I took turns with the children, one of us at prayers while the other was with the children. As time went on, I was assigned to teach the 5th grade, though I still kept all my other duties I had acquired over the years. It's a good thing we were young. Life was busy, very, very busy, but it was so very fulfilling and satisfying. I will never, ever forget those days at St. Catherine's, and now that I am old and retired, I am enjoying the privilege of the friendship of some of those children over whom I watched so many years ago. May God bless and care for and watch over them forever and ever.